It gives me great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who I had the pleasure of meeting in Barcelona a year ago, and then he kindly accepted my invitation to speak at this event as we moved it back to the Netherlands. So please put your hands together and welcome Fabien Deswarte from L'Oréal.
Can you hear me okay? Yep. So good afternoon, and I hope you had a good lunch, and thank you for the introduction. So as Paul mentioned, my name is Fabien Deswarte, and I'm heading the strategic partnership work group at L'Oréal. I'm very excited to be here with you today to tell you a little bit about our sustainability commitments, the sort of approach we are taking to transform ourselves, on the type of partnerships we were putting in place to meet our sustainability objectives, as well as respond to our consumer needs. So very quickly, what I'd like to do over the next 10-15 minutes or so is first of all tell you a little bit more about L'Oréal, because you might have heard about L'Oréal Paris, which is one of our few brands, but you might not know very much about our L'Oréal as a group. A little bit about our sustainability commitments, the transformation approach we are taking, and as I said, I'd like to take some examples to illustrate the type of partnerships that we are putting in place, or are looking to put in place, because clearly we can't do this on our own, and we'll have to team up to succeed. So very quickly, I'll be very brief, I promise, about L'Oréal Group. We are a pure player in beauty. That's all we do, and that's all we've done since our creation over 100 years ago by a young French chemist called Eugène Schueller. And we're the number one company in beauty in the world. As I said, L'Oréal Paris is one of our brands, but we have 36 global brands. You might recognize some of them, like Garnier, Maybelline, Lancôme, to name but a few, and these brands are present in over 150 countries. Research, so science, since the creation of L'Oréal, has been at the heart of everything we do. We spend over 1 billion euros on research every year. We have about 4,000 researchers, and we generate about 500 patents a year. And this is solely focusing on beauty. That was for us a quick focus on our sustainability commitments. As the number one beauty company in the world, quite a while ago we realized that we had to be exemplary in terms of sustainability. So we've been investing in sustainable development for a long while. We ran a first external facing, so to say, sustainability program from 2030 to 2020 that was very much focusing on reducing the impact of our own activities. In 2020, we decided to launch a new program, raising the bar to a new level, called L'Oréal for the Future. And in this case, we're not only aiming to reduce the impact of our own activities, but we're looking to respect the planetary boundaries, a concept that many of you might have heard of. Here are the 4 pillars of our sustainability strategy. So tackling climate change, using water responsibly, respecting biodiversity, and using natural resources. In this new program, the big difference with our last one is that we are not only focusing on reducing the impact of our own activities, but we are looking at reducing the impact of the activities of our suppliers, upstreams, and our consumers, downstreams. So we are very much taking a holistic, life cycle-based approach. I'm sorry, this is a very busy slide. You probably can't read it. And anyway, we don't have time. Paul will tell me that we don't have time to go through it. But very, very briefly, just to highlight these are the key commitments that we made in our L'Oréal for the Future strategy. Very quickly, clearly one of the key focus for us, one of the key commitments is to move away from using fossil derived ingredient by 2030. We are also want to make sure that 100% of our bio-based ingredients are traceable and coming from sustainable sources. We're looking also at the end of life of our products. We want by 2030 100% of our products to be eco-respectful, so biodegradable, non-ecotoxic. And we're also looking, as I said earlier on, we're looking at things from a life cycle based perspective, and we want 100% of our product to be eco-design. And again, if you've got any questions on that, you can talk to me later on. So very ambitious objectives, and clearly to be able to meet these objectives as well as respond to our consumer needs who are not ready to compromise on performance, we need to transform ourselves. So at L'Oréal, I'm part of the research of L'Oréal, and what we do is we take a threefold approach. First of all, we are looking actively to replace some of the fossil-derived ingredients that are in our portfolio of ingredients. So again, I didn't mention it, but very much focusing on the ingredients in our formulas, not the packaging. That's another direction. So we are looking actively for greener alternatives, whether they are isostructural or functional. So same properties, same functionalities, but different chemical structure. So this is the case, for example, for some well-known biological actives, such as vitamin B3, as well as some of our solvents, for example, and I'll give you an example in a minute. In parallel, we are looking to reinvent some of the performance engines that are in our formulas. So developing new blends of ingredients with new levels of performance in terms, for example, of textures for hair care and skin care, in terms of long wear properties for makeup. And last but not least, we are heavily investing in new innovation territories, such as microbiome, such as synthetic biology, such as new photoprotection methodologies. And clearly, we can't do this on our own. The challenge is too big, so we've got to leverage the great innovation potential coming from outside L'Oréal. So working with existing suppliers, working with well-established companies that might not be working in the cosmetic sector, working with startups, small companies, as well as what I would call enabling partners such as networks, such as people organizing conferences and investors, to name but a few. So just to give you a flavor of the sort of partnerships we are putting in place, we are looking to put in place over the next few years, I'm going to just give you some examples of partnerships we've putting in place as we speak. So first of all, many of our ingredients are not produced by the L'Oréal Group. They're coming from suppliers from all over the world, and a few are here today. So what we do is with the most innovative suppliers, we are working closely with these sort of partners to greenify some of the ingredients and develop new ingredients that are high-performing and sustainable. So here is an example of an ingredient, vitamin C, well-known ingredients to our consumer, which is used for its anti-inflammatory, anti-aging properties in skincare. There's only so much I can tell you about this partnership. I'm pleased to say that following 2 years of work with DSM, one of our suppliers, we're able to greenify that specific ingredient, which is now bio-based and is produced via a green process. We've talked about it earlier on. Bio-based, great, but the process needs to be good as well. We're also increasingly working with startups, innovative startups that are developing and scaling up technologies that might be of interest to us. So a few years ago, we've invested in a French biotech company called GBE. They've developed a very unique process to produce a building block called isobutene. And isobutene is usually traditionally produced from crude oil, as some of you would know. and isobutene can be used to develop to produce a wide range of ingredients, including a volatile solvent called isododecane. And isododecane is a solvent that's widely used, commonly used in cosmetic, especially in long wear lipsticks, for example. Hence why the interest for L'Oréal in investing in this company. We're also very open to joining multi-partner ventures involving some of our competitors. So from competition to collaboration or co-petition, as some people would call it. And in this case, you might or might not have seen a few weeks ago, we've announced that we're investing in a venture led by Gino, and investing and involving Unilever and Kao, looking at harnessing the potential of biotech to produce new cosmetic ingredients, and in particular surfactants. So we believe that teaming up with other beauty players who share the same commitment to sustainability can be a great way of leveraging the collective expertise and resources of these people to maximize our impact. And last but not least, we're also increasingly working with academia. I think we believe they can help us tackle some of the big challenges we're facing. Polymer being one of them. Again, I won't have time to tell you more about the challenges we're facing in this area. But if you have any interest or any ideas, very very happy to talk to you later on. Here we've decided to help tackle what we call the polymer challenge. We decided to invest in a joint lab with a French lab in Bordeaux called LCPO, and we are developing, with their help, new polymers that are bio-based, produced via a green process, and are biodegradable. And here is an example of a hydrogel that has been developed with this center. So I think I'm on time, Paul. I don't know if you've been watching. Well, that's great. Okay, well, that's my last.
Like 3 minutes.
Okay, well, very good, very good. So I hope I convinced you that we've at L'Oréal have set ourselves some very ambitious sustainability targets. At the same time, our consumers are very much expecting the performance they are seeing. They're actually expecting more in terms of performance. So there's a dual challenge here, sustainability and performance. And to tackle this, we obviously need to move away from using the bio can be one of the answers, but we also need to look at the processes that are being used to make these new materials. So we think that the green sciences, we heard about green chemistry, we heard about biotech earlier on. We think that these are key levers to help us with that. And clearly, no companies can do this on their own. We need to team up, and that's why we're here today, and that's why we support this conference. And we're keen to find new partners to help us, and new ways of working to help us meet some of our sustainability commitment I mentioned earlier on, but also meet some of our consumer needs. So I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Thank you very much again to the organizer for inviting me to talk today, and I'd like to thank you all for your attention.